Alright, so today we're going to be getting a Juventus Career Mode on SC26. They've currently found themselves 6th in the table after 11 games with 19 points to their name. Not far off top of the table, Inter, as you can see, only 5 points away from them. Let's get into this one and take Juventus not only back to the top of Italian football, but take them to European success as well. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about in this series is the contract situations of Dusan Vlahovic and Weston McKennie most importantly. But also regarding here, we're going to let go. Obviously, he used to be a big talent. Didn't really work out. He's been a decent servant for Juventus over the years. Now 31 years of age. We could maybe give him a contract if he wants one and keep him as a backup. As we've got a Pender here on loan. If he impresses them, maybe in season 2, we could bring him in as a permanent deal. Kostic is going to go down in this overall. We might convert him into a cam. If he does want a new contract, I might give him one and then sell him for money. But the main thing is Weston McKennie. If he wants a new contract, I will give him one as well. Should we keep him around as a backup player in the team if he wants to stay? And also Dusan Vlahovic. And there's rumours that are Spurs and Man United are going to try get him in January for about 13 million. So if that is what's going to happen, they will let him go. Or do we give him a new contract, as he does wants to start the new contract to Juventus, seemingly for what I just read up in the news and like articles and stuff. He's open to a new contract. Oh, me as manager now and us taking over Juventus. Maybe if he starts performing and wants a new contract, we can keep him at the club and try and either sell him if he does want to leave IRL, or develop him back into the striker. And he's been a big player for Juventus this season. But as you'll see, we switched the formation into a 4-2-2 formation. You can see right here, we switched from this formation to 3-5-2, as we just used that in our last series. But we're switching to the 4-2-2 to get Vlahovic and Jonathan David up front. We have Kenan Yildiz and Constançao as cams in the team. Locatelli and Thuram in midfield. Cambiasso, Kalulu, Gatti, and Mario in the full defensive positions right now, because obviously a few players are injured. So Brown's back in 20 days. Cabal's back pretty soon. Lord Kelly as well. We also have Milik out injured as well, player looking to sell. But the bench is looking pretty decent. Ajic, I'm going to learn him out. With the likes of obviously Kostic here, who's most likely leaving Zagrova. I'm going to convert into a cam as well. So he should be a pretty good player for us. We've got Koopman here as well. And some pretty good talents like Moretti and players on loan. Obviously a Pender loaned in. So let me know in the comments below. Players you want to see a sign for this team. We also have a few big name players out loaned out. If we quickly have a look real quickly just to go through the team. We've got obviously in terms of big players in terms of ratings, Timmy Weah or loan at Marseille. Do we sell him next season or bring him back and keep him as a backup player in the team? We have Nico Gonzalez. Things didn't really work out for him at Juventus after leaving Fiorentina. Now playing for Atletico Madrid on loan. I think they might be looking to buy him, or I'm not too sure what they're going to do with that one. But Douglas Luiz at Forest, I think he's a player that we do sell, because obviously things haven't really worked out for him at Juventus. So he's on loan at Forest right now, and we're looking to sell him maybe next season, and we'll let him develop over there and see what happens. Also, we've got a bunch of young talents on loan as well that will come back and maybe be bench players on the team, or maybe just we'll let them out and keep them developing elsewhere. Obviously, the comments down below. Players you want to see a sign in this series, and players you think we should sell as well. We don't have 108 million to spend in January before we even sell players, so that's big for us. We're also going to do some youth academy scouting in this season as well, in this series, just to see if we can find any big Italian talents that we can use in the team. But it's not waste more time. Let's get to our first game of the episode and see what we can do as Juventus manager. And for our first game of this series, we're taking on Fiorentina, at bottom of the table. I didn't know Fiorentina were actually doing that badly this season in the Serie A, so maybe we should take over Fiorentina and do a manager career mode with them, as we have done the past couple of years. Obviously, on FIFA 23 we did one with them, and also on SC24 we did one with them. Didn't do one on SC25, so I think one on SC26 could be fun to do with, obviously, Fiorentina to do, since they're in a bad position. And I also love Fiorentina as a club. Their kits are nice, their badge is, I think the badge used to be better, but let's get into this one up against them, and hopefully defeat bottom of the table here with a new formation, new tactics, a new manager here at Juventus that show that I'm the guy for the job. A lot here, ball through. Mandragora Di Gregorio makes a big save there though. And apparently recently Juventus have been looking at bringing in Mike Maignan from AC Milan. I'm not too sure how likely that is to happen, but maybe something we could look at doing to improve on Di Gregorio in goal. He's not a bad goalkeeper, but obviously only 81 rated. Great ball through. Jonathan David, the Canadian, scores here 10 minutes in, and Jonathan David puts us ahead. Obviously, a new signing from Lille gets his second goal of the season here. And apparently Chelsea, by the way, I've seen when I was looking into some news articles that Chelsea might be looking at bringing in Jonathan David. He's a player that they're interested in. And as we get to look at the centre circle again, they need to patch this man. I mean, they need to patch the whole game, to be honest, but this is one of the most annoying things about the game right now, as well as the gameplay. But Jonathan David scores it to put us ahead, 10 minutes in, and a great start against bottom of the table, Fiorentina. Almost fouled this, Jonathan David. Good interception there from Keffer and Turin. He's been a big play for them this season. Great ball through Vlahovic. Can he get another assist to Jonathan David? There we go. It's 2-0. And this is looking like it could get out of hand for Fiorentina. I mean, like I said, they are bottom of the table, so winning this game is a must for us. And like right now, we're playing some pretty good attacking football. I'm liking this team so far. We're looking pretty good in the attack. Great pass there from Vlahovic. Gets a second assist for him in this game. And Jonathan David doubles himself, his goal tally, gets a brace and makes it 2-0. Minutes there for him. As here is Parisi, the former Italian talent, who's not too old these days. I think he's 23, if I'm not mistaken, right? Conceição, ball through into Jonathan David, who's playing incredible so far in this team. Dusan Vlahovic against his former team. Can he score? And it's 3-0. We beat De Gea for a third time, and he's asking what has happened to his defence in this game. As Vlahovic gets a goal for himself, he's got 2 assists, if I'm not mistaken, as well as this goal. And this is now 3-0 against Fiorentina. Let's show them at the bottom of the table, to be fair. We have 3 games to play in today's episode. This one against Fiorentina. We're then going to play against Napoli and also Roma to end the episode before the January deadline, January transfer window. And Vlahovic gets a goal for us, which we'd love to see. Vlahovic again. Sends for Kenan Yildiz. And Yildiz shoots near post and scores. I just thought I'd try it because it's half time. But it's going to be a 4-0 lead for us going into the half-time break. And Kenan Yildiz, a player that's been linked with a bunch of big teams recently, Man United, Barcelona, etc., are looking into the Turkish talent. So he's a great player. And Turkey, by the way, are looking pretty good young talents-wise. They've got Arda Güler, they've got obviously Can Uzun, obviously Kenan Yildiz, they've got that left-back, I can't remember his name, I think Yilmaz, they've got Akgun as well, Galatasaray, who's an older player. Turkey are looking like they've got a pretty decent team, but it's going to be hard time here. 4-0 up in our first game as Juventus manager, and I look like I'm proving that I should be the manager for Juventus here moving forward. Obviously, we are up against bottom of the table, but right now we are playing pretty good. 4 shots, 4 goals, as you can see. 3 10.0 ratings for Thuram, David and Vlahovic. Let's sit them to the end and see what the result is in the end. It's a 5-0 victory with Kenan Yildiz getting a brace for himself in this one. And away from home at Bodø/Glimt Norway, we got a 3-2 victory with Kaluda getting himself sent off late in the game for a double yellow. Jonathan David scored 2 goals and Yildiz got a goal for himself. It's going to be a 3-2 victory over Bodø/Glimt, and hopefully we can get some good performances going in the Champions League, because right now we're on 6 points and I believe we should be above the 20th position now, or around there anyway, and I'm hoping we can do pretty well and get ourselves through into the next round to see how far we can go in the Champions League this season. And up against Cagliari here, we get a 1-0 victory courtesy of Luis Openda. I did start up front alongside Vlahovic for this one, and he repaid that. We get a goal and the 3 points for us at home. And up against Udinese in the Coppa Italia round of 16, courtesy of 2 goals from Jonathan David, we'll see ourselves go through into the quarterfinals of the Coppa Italia. And well, now it's time for a real test for the Juventus team up against Napoli, obviously led by the likes of De Bruyne, Lukaku, Scott McTominay, and also Noah Lang, David Neres, some great players in their team, and also some pretty good defenders as well. Let's get into this one up against them and hopefully get a victory. They're currently 3rd in the table. We've climbed up to 4th. Bremen's back from injury. Kluger's going to be playing right back now for us. Gatti at left centre back due to having a 3-star weak foot. Let's get into this one and hopefully defeat Napoli here. And we're going to go Memphis Depay to sign as a free agent. Okay, I can't escape Memphis Depay no matter what league I'm in. I don't think he actually was in the Bundesliga, but Memphis Depay usually signs for Aston Villa as a free agent, but he's gone to Napoli in this series. Okay, there's Noah Lang, a Dutchman, in the past couple of seasons. There's lots of Osimhen that was there, Kovacic, Kelia, and I said they reinvented themselves after losing those 2. And found the likes of obviously Scott McTominay and Lukaku stacked up. But here's Jonathan David. Can he score early on? And Jonathan David, we might be in for a treat when it comes to our strikers in this series. Because Dusan Vlahovic is playing great as a kind of a false 9. Technically, they're both on advanced forward, but he's being kind of an advanced false 9. Paying the assists to Jonathan David, who just rifles that one into the top corner. And going from our defensive, our last series was with our last team we did with obviously Gladbach, and the games we had in that one. Maybe we're in for a treat in this one. And hopefully we can play some more good attacking football, because previously in the past couple of episodes I made a my content, I've really been disliking the gameplay due to how defensive minded the AI has been and how hard it's been to break them down due to how just OP the defending is. But maybe in this series it's going to be a breath of fresh air and we can actually do some attacking football in the league that's most known for its defensive ability. It could be the most open, surprisingly. It's Conceição here. The Portuguese winger there shoots, but Meret makes a save. Incredible. Dusan Vlahovic now. Ball through into Kenan Yildiz, who just overran it there, but thankfully Meret couldn't collect it. Now can recycle the ball and get it forward again. Here he is, Kenan Yildiz. Looking to knock it past Di Lorenzo. Ball to the back post. I mean, I was hoping to go to Conceição. It was completely wide open, but it didn't go to him. Tomine. Gisa. How has he got to the ball? Depay blocked there, and hopefully we can get to it. There we go. And that's Politano. Good defender there from Cambiasso. Yildiz, get forward. Vlahovic, I should have just passed it to David straight away there. Tried to just hold up play and wait for the Yildiz run and build off that, but that didn't work out for us. And that's good defending there from Thuram again, though. McTominay wins the header. What if I let Napoli got a score? McTominay. Yeah, Napoli got a score here. Noah Lang. And Gisa shoots. Hugo got a good save. Conceição, who shouldn't be on the pitch still, but he is. Locatelli to Kefa and Thuram, who just took ages to shoot. Politano. Lukaku. They're going to draw this. They're going to get a draw. I can feel it coming. Lukaku. Lobotka tried to feed it through to Lukaku there. We need to get another goal, and quick. So if this game is still 1-0 in the 80th minute, I feel like it's going to be 1-1. As Conceição could win it for us here and seal it, but it's fallen to Kenan Yildiz. Meret did his best, and his Napoli teammates left him out to dry this. Defenders weren't there to help him, as Kenan Yildiz pounced on the free ball and put it into the back of the net there. That's a pretty good save from Meret, to be fair. He just put it into the danger area, and unfortunately, like I mentioned, for him, the Napoli defence was asleep. So we get to watch the centre circle. This is so great. How he managed to do this, EA, I don't understand. But we score a second goal that we needed to get ourselves hopefully to guarantee 3 points. I like this Juventus kit, by the way, the black kit with the Floridas on, I think it is. But Pender now comes on at the end of the game. He should have been on for the past 20 minutes in game. I'm not sure what happened there. So I'm going to have to bring on him in the final game. I could start him actually in the Roma game to see what happens. See how he plays. And there we go. It's a 2-0 victory. 3 points picked up against Napoli. And now we should leapfrog them in the lead. See us go into the top 3, hopefully, after this win here. But we have a big game coming up against Roma. Another team from Rome. I see Napoli also from Rome. As you can see the fans celebrating in Turin. As we get another 3 points as Juventus manager. Right now we're undefeated since I took over. And looking pretty good. And well, this game kind of devolved into the FC26 style. After we won the look, but it's super defensive. I couldn't really do anything. The passing went downhill very, very quick. I couldn't really play simple passes. But Diego Gordo won the match award for him, and a 2-0 victory for us against Napoli. And then back in the Champions League, it's a 2-1 victory for us with John Murray getting a goal for himself, and also Jonathan David scoring again to get ourselves to 3 points to see us climb further up the table in the Champions League. However, before we get to the game against Roma, we've got Bologna. We're currently second in the table. I completely forgot Bologna this season. Actually looking pretty good. And right now we're second in the table due to obviously other teams around them dropping down in positions. Right now I believe they're 5th IRL. If I'm not mistaken, just ahead of Juventus. I think I saw at the start of this career. But for this game, I was thinking about starting a Pender up front. We're going to bring him on later in the game instead of Jonathan David. Or I might actually start him alongside Jonathan David instead of Dusan Vlahovic. Yeah, we're going to do that. Who's got a better week for 4-star and 5-star? David goes there. A Pender up front. So he's only on loan here for us, but we could sign him in the next episode to be a backup striker for us, or rotation striker in the team. Let's get into this one up against second place Bologna and hopefully beat them to climb further up the table and maybe get into second place as well. Locatelli from range here hits it. Locatelli straight into the hands of their goalkeeper though. But like I was saying, Bologna are going to be a team that are really good IRL right now and are going to be disappointing in SC when you play against them. Like, they don't play as good, but here's Kenan Yildiz. Oh, it's incredible from Kenan Yildiz. Please score. Skorupski almost stopped it, but Kenan Yildiz, 6 minutes in, scores a great goal there. Shows his creativity and flair. Flicks it in behind. and finds the back of the net just about there to the Polish shot stopper, almost stopped him. I believe Skorupski's Polish. His name sounds Polish, so I imagine he is Polish, but we'll get to look at the centre circle. This is great, man. I don't get how they managed to do this. You know, before the update, this never happened. The only thing that happened is AI players, when they scored against you, would run towards the centre circle for whatever reason. But 6 minutes in, we take the lead against Bologna, who, like I said, are second. And if we beat them here, I think we're going to take them over and be second in the table if we beat them. So leading the Italian, the experienced player, Locatelli heads it back there to Di Gregorio. What is... Okay. And there he is, Orsolini, looking pretty good in this game. There was a Penda. Speaking of passing the ball, that's a great pass into Jonathan David. He can find Kenan Yildiz. Can he double our lead here? Kenan Yildiz shoots it, falls to Conceição. Fortune is favouring us. Maybe this is the world repaying me. If you watched my last Career Mode video, the finale of the Gladbach series, you would have seen the just insanity I had to go through to win trophies and games in that series. It was a very, very stressful series finale. I recommend you go back and watch that on my last video for the whole series. I recommend you go back and watch the other Career Mode series that I've done on the channel so far on SC26. You can find them on the channel. But yeah, the Gladbach series in the final, or the second season, was very, very stressful and frustrating due to the gameplay. But right now, as long as this continues the way it is in the series, then maybe we're in for fun one with Juventus here. Because right now we're looking very, very good attacking wise and pretty good defensively. But as we know, they can turn on the switch of a dime, on the turn of a dime. I think that's the saying right. Or flick of a switch. Thuram. David through. Here's Kenan Yildiz, who's been playing incredible so far in his team. Knocks it forward. Jonathan David across to Penda, who shoots and scores, and it's 3-0. Going into the half-time break, we've got a similar rest of this game. And there was a Penda who's on loan here from Leipzig, scores for us, gets his second goal of the season, and makes it 3-0 to us. And like I said, Bologna, right now in real life, are looking pretty good in Serie A, but in the series, it might be an easy team for us to beat due to their ratings and stuff, and just how good we are as a team right now. As a Penda, the Belgian, makes it 3 before the half-time break, and that should be the 3 points right up for us. We're going to sim the rest of the game, and hopefully, like I said, we're not going to regret doing this one, as we're going to sim to the end right here, similar to like we did in the first game up against Fiorentina, and it's going to be a 4-0 victory in the end with a Penda getting a brace for himself in this one. And for the final game of the episode, we're going to take on Roma here at home. As you can see, with our usual lineup, we've been playing pretty good with this team so far. And it's getting to this one for the final game of the episode and hopefully go undefeated in our first episode here with Juventus. Seems like Roma are going to be pretty good defensively. I might have spoken too soon, as Jonathan David here has space. We have room out wide here for Conceição. And the Portuguese can do so, and I did speak too soon. I said Roma are looking pretty good defensively. And then like a minute later, we score a goal. Well, not a minute later, roll time, but around in game time, something like that. But Conceição scores for us here to make it one of his third goal of the season. I love this, man. Like, this is, I didn't get how they did it. You know, Conceição scores here, beats Midasvila in goal, and makes it 1-0 to us early in this game. Try to get the ball out, Locatelli to Thuram here, can get it forward. Jonathan David can feed it through. But Ndiki gets the ball off his. Vlahovic gets it back though. He shoots, but it's wide of the post. To be fair, I'm surprised Juventus let go of Matthias Sule. He's a very, very good talent, but guessing he wasn't getting the game time that he needed at Roma, and I guess why they see him as the heir to the throne of the baller in their team. Dovvik shoots, and Dovvik though puts it wide of the post. Jonathan David, great play. Dusan Vlahovic this time, can he score? Vlahovic hits it. Midasvila makes a save, and it almost falls. Van Dovvik back up wide there, looking for El Shaarawy. Ball into the box, hopefully headed away. No, it's not bad. Anzi wins a header. Surprisingly, one of the shortest players on the pitch wins a header there. David to Vlahovic. Vlahovic over the top to Jonathan David, who might be able to chip the keeper. Midasvila, but he's hit the crossbar. Create something here. It's a Turkish dynamo. Dusan Vlahovic, go down for the pen. Why did he not go down for the pen there? That was a clear-cut penalty if he went down. Jonathan David over top to Dusan Vlahovic. He should be on side on Vlahovic. How's he not scored there? Fine, powered the ball up. Ball into the box. And Cambiasso does well to head that away. Locatelli can do so the same. And that's a Grover. Oh, that touch was awful. I feel like Roma got a score. I just have a feeling they're going to get a goal. Good defender from Bremelo. Kone beats his fellow Frenchman into Ram. So two fairly similar players. Kone with a bit less strength and power. He almost scores though. Not like in the end of this game here, I feel like we should be further ahead in the scoreline than we are. I feel like Roma are going to get a goal later on here. Sule, Dovic, Pellegrini. That's going to be great defending from Gatti though. Good block from Cambiasso. Now a decision to be made. Do I just keep the ball for the rest of the game or try to get a second goal? Yildiz through to Openda. And Openda to seal the victory. And the Belgian does so. And what the question is, do we sign Openda permanently? Next episode would cost about maybe 40 million to bring him in from Leipzig. He would be a great player for us to have. As you can tell by this first episode, he scored a few goals for us and looks pretty good coming off the bench, and obviously can start in the team if necessary. The Belgian here puts his 2 goals to the good. And the centre circle again, this doesn't get old. You know what I mean? This is so great to see the centre circle every time we score a goal. But Openda still seals the 3 points for us. And I believe with this victory, we should go top of the table and a few points clear maybe as well, depending on results elsewhere. And right now we're looking pretty good as a team. The 4-2-2 is looking great for us. I mean, this has been possibly our worst performance of the episode so far. I mean, it wasn't a bad performance. We were pretty good defensively, but attack-wise, I just feel like we weren't really there. But there we go. That's going to be the end of the game. A 2-0 victory. And we remain undefeated in this episode since I took over. And obviously Juventus weren't undefeated. They actually lost a few games this season. But I've taken over as manager. And it seems that the Juventus of old is back. And we could be a team that can dominate Italian football this season. And maybe put off a shock victory in the Champions League if we manage to continue this football. You never know. And well, as you can see, since I took over, I managed to throw Napoli, who were top of the table a bit at the point. It was actually Inter who were top of the table when I took over. We were down in 6th, where Napoli find themselves now, and we're top of the table, looking pretty good. 6 points clear of Inter, who are a few games behind us. As you can see, we played 17, now on 15, so that's one thing we need to keep in mind of. Also in the Champions League, I believe we're climbed to a pretty decent position. 17th isn't amazing, but obviously we've got a few more games to go. We have 2 more games in the league phase to see ourselves try climb up to maybe the top 10, if possible. That'd be great for us to try and get through into the next round without having to play the playoffs rounds. And in the Coppa Italia, obviously we are through to the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals to beat Udinese earlier in today's episode. But right now the things are looking pretty good. We do have, like I said, 100+ million to spend next episode. 105 million now to give a few new contracts out and stuff like that. But the things are looking great. One thing we need to do is replace Kostic. He's gone down a rating. I think what's best to do with him is either a swap deal or buy a player to replace him. So that would have to be a left-sided cam. There's a few players I've got on the shortlist I'll show you real quickly before we go into the stats of the players. As you see by the shortlist, we've got a few players here. There could be decent signings for us. We're going to go through them by position. But Waddy's been linked to them quite a little bit recently. Obviously, he was great for us in the Liverpool series, and we used him as a backup in that team. We also have Lewis Ferguson from Bologna, so the Scotsman's looking pretty good for them. Could be a good backup player for us in the team. Jadon Sancho, been linked to them quite a lot recently, obviously for the past few months. And he could be a good player for us as Jan at Aston Villa low. This would be a second season signing, depending on what we do elsewhere. Rodrigo Salazar, I think would be the player to bring in to replace Kostic at the left side of position. Great play styles, incredible stats. We know what he can be from the FIFA 23 Schalke series when he was playing for Schalke back in that time period. You can see not stats wise, play styles are pretty good. Finesse shot, power shot, incisive, and obviously technical as well. And some pretty good other ones as well as incredible stats, well-rounded player. And Santiago Castro, as a backup striker, could be pretty good for us. I see the Argentinian playing for Bologna. Could be a player we steal from them to develop and play behind Vlahovic, or see Jonathan David and Openda, depending on what we do with that money elsewhere. And obviously, let me know down below, should we bring in Openda on a permanent basis? As right now, stats-wise, we're looking pretty decent with, as you can see, Kenan Yildiz, 9 goals and 6 assists. Jonathan David, 9 and 3. Vlahovic 7-5, Constantin looking pretty good, and Openda 4 goals. As obviously he's been playing good for us since we took over. I don't think he's scored for them IRL so far, and what he's scored for us in the series, so he's looking pretty good. And Kefren Turam 3 goals and 4 assists, so he's on a great season IRL, and that's why his stats are what they are in this team right now. But right now I think the team's looking great. I feel like I said right now quite a lot in this outro, but as of this moment, I word it differently. The team's looking great. We're looking undefeatable in the league so far. So next episode, we're going to make some big signings. Drop it in the comments below who you want to see in this team. And that's going to call it for this one. Drop a like and subscribe if you want to enjoy the episode. And as always, thank you for watching, and goodbye.